What is going on, guys? So I'm here in my backyard. Just got off of work about an hour ago, and the sun is beaming at this point in time in upstate New York, or you could say central New York. I don't know why they call it upstate when upstate is like above New York City, and I'm like in the center of New York State. But today, you know what? I just wanted to make a normal video. I was like, I want to catch some peak sun. Tomorrow is going to be more of a peak sun kind of day. And damn it, it's these freaking trees. The sun is still out, but the trees, we need to just cut them down. Cut them down. No, let's not cut the trees down. But, it's like kind of blocked a little bit, so I had to come to this little segment of my yard to try to get some sun. But I know tomorrow I'm going to have way more sun to be able to deal with, be able to rock with. And I want to just start the day early because I got a whole day. And I want to really enjoy it because I haven't had one of those days in a while. But, today I figured I was just gonna, drink some beers, smoke some tobacco with you guys, and be cool. Just got a freaking message from my landlord. I messaged him yesterday. I was like, "Hey, is it okay if I pay rent this coming Thursday?" And he said, "I was like 8/11, right?" And he's like, "Yes." And then he messaged me today. He's like, "When can I expect rent?" And I was like, "I just told you." So it kind of sucks. You're under that, a little bit. That umbrella, you got to work with where you're at, but I got a good setup here right now. I got a punching bag right there because there's like a whole playground here in this backyard that we get. We got a front porch with there's like the porch is like kind of in a room with like windows in it, so it's freaking awesome. So you have like a level of privacy, which is really nice. I do have some roommates, but yeah, I figured why not just have some beers with the fellas, because I think a lot of people, they just want to feel like, I can find my tobacco. Isn't that the question? On here it is. So right now I'm smoking American Spirit organic tobacco. I roll it up, and I'm not fucking Jacob Jones over here gonna buy different types of smokes. I try to find a balance with, you can use the word health, but with like my cardiovascular, and then the times I want to like have a beer and enjoy the freaking day. That's why I'm a huge advocate of like doing cardio exercise and like lifting weights and feeling good about yourself before you just lethargically have beers or do anything like that. It gives more of a pump in your sails, wind in your sails. I'm gonna roll this baby up. I figured, hey, you know what? Let me make a normal drinking video. I don't expect this to get a lot of views. Maybe I should. Maybe with manifestation. I'll put the energy out there, but I don't expect to get a lot of views or anything like that. I remember the first smoking video I put up, I got a shit ton of views, but maybe it was just because it was new on the algorithm. But yeah, I don't fucking know. Honestly, I don't even know. But I was watching. I like watching him, Elisha Long. He talks about retard maxing all the time. It's not like he's some guru, but I feel like there's certain people that I like to listen to at times when I'm maybe in a funk, where I feel like their insight on things, whether they might contradict themselves here and there and whatever, is nice to hear. We do live in an age where you can kind of choose the media that goes in your head. If you look at a lot of boomers, they're just kind of bombarded with TV that they can kind of choose, but they kind of can. It's just like depends on what's on. And now we live in an age where you can kind of choose what you want to watch and what kind of voices you want to come in, because there might be other people's thoughts and opinions and stuff like that that can come into your mind, that can maybe even be confusing. That's why I feel like it's good to lift, it's good to work out, it's good to get some freaking umph, and like kind of, I talk to myself, and I feel like talking to myself builds up. It's like a blocker at times, And it's like there's a lot of people that talk to themselves, and then you talk to them, and they're you can totally have a conversation with them. You know what I'm saying? They're not like fucking blitz out the wall. But I've always talked to myself ever since I was a kid. So I think now I'm just kind of aware of it, of why, even more so as I'm older. But right now I got freaking blessed by God today, and yesterday there was a whole bunch of cores at my job found, and also found a 4-pack of some LeBlanc Blue Light. And hey, I ain't mad at that. So I got some cores right here, and yeah, But my point was, I was watching Elisha Long, and a point he made that I liked, he was like, somebody was like, you need to like edit your videos, and you need to uh, go raw, like, or not, you know, you need to edit them up and stuff like that. And he's like, no, I'm not gonna fucking do that, because it's like people want to like feel like you're talking to somebody. Now I kind of get why I like watching Jacob Jones or Small Brain American, or like they're doing things that you're doing, and they're kind of just living life, and they're not like trying to edit everything to make everything like seem perfect. Like it's kind of raw. And again too, like, cheers. Again too, it's like it's not like when I watch these people, it's not like they're freaking gurus, but it's I think it's totally normal and okay to like you might hear an opinion from somebody and then it might be like, yeah, exactly, you know, that's what I think, you know what I mean? So it's like I might say some thought points that they say, but it's already usually thought points that I've already been thinking about, but it's just being articulated in a different way, you know. So I don't think that makes you fucking weird or anything like that. But yeah, you know, he likes smoking cigars, I like smoking tobacco. I kind of want to get into cigars, but here, let's smoke. Um, but yeah, I wanna. Oh, I'm gonna lean back now. Yeah, there we go. Lots of time here. It's good. But yeah, man, I had a freaking day at work. Got out of work. Was gonna be the first one done. I was trying to have a competition with one of my other coworkers to see who can get done the fastest. And then because we built that 12 rooms, and then my manager was like, "Oh, I gave him an extra 5, so he has 17." And like, I already got like 8 rooms done before one, so I was already way ahead of him. And then I was like, I just like my morale just freaking dropped. I was like, well, what's the point? I messaged him. I'm like, oh, dude, you got 17 rooms. And then all of a sudden he messages me at like around 2 something. He's like, I'm done. And I'm like, what? No fucking way. There's no way you got 17 rooms done before freaking 3 o'clock. You know. Also, he's in a different tower, which they have single beds over there. I have to make 2 beds in one room. So that does say some stuff. You know, I'm not trying to be a poor sport, but for real, in my mind, like it would only be fair if we were like in the same area. But even then, still in my mind, I was like, nah, I'm the fucking best. I'm the man. You know, I'm telling myself this. I fucking got this. I'm zooming through it. I'll still beat him. But then I lost my morale. But then I think around like 2:33, I was like, okay. No, it was like 2:30. I was like, fuck this. I want to go home and enjoy the sun. It's a freaking nice day out. I'm gonna do the same thing tomorrow. I'm gonna probably make up a video. I have a day off tomorrow, so I'm gonna freaking wake up in the morning, get my workout on. You know, because when I work out, I feel better. I feel more clear. I feel strong. I feel like I'm not just over here just drinking and doing nothing. Like just fucking off. You know what I'm saying? And if that's your prerogative, then by all means. But it's good to have thumos. Like some umph. Feels good to have umph. That's why I watch. I like watching people like Elisha Long sometimes, or Eric Bugenhagen, where he doesn't even talk. He talks about the mindset, but he's just freaking, well, he's buffed up on freaking coffee. But I was like, okay, well, I don't want to go home right after work and go for a run and do a bunch of push-ups and work out and then start drinking, because then I gotta freaking, then it's gonna be like freaking 6 o'clock or something like that. So I was like, you know what, how could I kill two birds with one stone? So I started just jogging around while making my rooms, jogging and then doing push-ups and squats. So that way, and I was sweating. I was smelly, body odor, sweating. Got done before everybody else. You could be like, oh, you think you're better than everybody? You got better. It's like, dude, yeah, that makes me feel good. It's like a race. I want to feel freaking good if you ate first or last. You know, but not in all seriousness though. But like, I think that there's gonna be days when you're just feeling sluggish. You don't want to get into that mindset. But I always feel better most of the time with myself when I actually try to give it my all in certain aspects of my life. Um, and then I don't feel like a loser. You're like, oh, you feel like a loser. Oh, blah, 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 and I used to get really. I used to get really into like the metaphysics and like self-help type of stuff, and you know, freaking feminine spirituality bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And I don't even like using those words. I just had a life where I flowed so much. My friend used this analogy. He's like, it's like when you're going down a river, you're flowing, but there's times when you got to be alert and you got to be, oh shit, hey, watch out for that, watch out for that. Let's do this. So it's like kind of like that. There's times when you got to be alert and you can't just flow around, because when you flow around, you're gonna be at the whim of other people a lot of times. And I was flowing hard, man. I thought that was the way, but honestly, I believe that God has given us or whatever you want to call a higher power, or some higher. We all have parents here. I just think it just goes back and back and back, but He's given us a body for a reason and a mind for a reason. And why not use that mind? I feel way better about my fucking life now that I'm like, yeah, I've set little goals throughout the day and stuff like that. I have a long-term goal, and then I try to take it day by day. How can I make this the best day? The best day doesn't have to be me working out all day. It could also be me working out and freaking then just having some beers under the sun. Calling up my mom, calling up my friends, hanging out with some friends. Not every day. Sometimes I like to freaking sit with myself and listen to freaking music. And think about a higher purpose in my life. Like, I love video game music and all that stuff. It always brings me back to home. Like, I'm remembering what it was like when I was a kid, the emotions I felt, the good ones, the inspiration, the sense of like, I could be a hero, I could be this. I don't think any of that's silly at all. And I think my point is like, you know, keep life simple. I think that's why I've been listening to Elijah Long a lot lately, just kind of soaking that in a little bit more and reminding myself. I feel like the people that and I've felt the same way. I'm not just buying off of him, but I feel like I like what he said in that sense too. Though he's like, but I feel like the people that intellectualize every fucking thing, and like psychoanalyze everything. Well, clearly because you're doing this, because this is clearly coming from an insecurity that you got from blah 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 blah. Maybe so to some extent, but I think that life is pretty fucking simple. I remember when I was a kid, I liked a girl. I liked a girl. You know what I'm saying? There was no like, whoa, from your childhood. So from my childhood, when I was like fucking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like, really? You know what I'm saying? It's like they gotta find something, and those people to me are idiots. They're actually idiots. They're not actually alive, living, enjoying the freaking sun. You know what I mean? Enjoying the beauty of life. They want to intellectualize every fucking thing. They want to analyze every fucking thing. That's a horrible way to live, in my opinion, man. But I've been there. And I think it's an idiot. I think you're a true idiot when you're like that. Landlord just messaged me back again. Hope he's okay with that. I'll find out later. That's why I huge proponent of keeping it simple. You're at the gym, right? You're locked in. Yeah, you're freaking locked in. Maybe there's a hot babe there. Maybe you find her attractive. It's not fucking weird, dude. You don't want to be gawking at her the whole entire time. Maybe you are like doing little looks. I remember when I was younger, I thought I thought girls were pretty, and I wanted to just, the ones that I thought were pretty, I couldn't help but like keep looking at them, and it wasn't a sexual thing. It was just like, oh wow, she's really pretty. You get those kids in class. I remember kids in class, they'd be show-offs, and you make fun of that. And I feel like there's a part of analyzing things, but if you're analyzing everything, but I always felt like, oh well, he's doing that obviously to get attention from these girls. Yeah, no shit. No fucking shit, dude. Duh. Fucking duh. You know what I'm saying? Duh. Just because you don't have the cojones to bring it and to fucking do that stuff because you're shitting on yourself because, like, oh, I don't want to be a show off. So what? So what if you're kind of a show off, dude? There's a time and a place. There's going to be things that you do that some people are just going to think are cocky and show off you. Okay. You know where you're coming from when you're doing stuff. It's not bad to show off here and there. It's not bad. I don't think it's bad at all, man. And that's where I like my whole point of keeping it simple, keeping it pragmatic at times. Like I was saying, like, yeah, I might see a good looking girl at the gym. Now I'm more motivated to work out. Now I kind of want to stay and stick around. I want her to see me work out. I'm not gonna follow her around the gym, but I want to I want her to see me work out. What's the con in that? The pro is that, man, I got more motivated to stay at the freaking gym because I kept it simple. I wasn't looking for like motivate. It just happened. Now I'm at the gym for an extra hour, 2 hours. Now I'm more jacked and stacked, and I just got a freaking better workout. Doesn't sound like a bad deal to me. Doesn't sound like a bad deal to me at all. Keep talking so much, I ain't smoking. Again, I think that there's a balance within yourself. Everybody's balance is different. And again, I'm not trying to talk like some guru. I'm just talking from my own observations in life. But I think there's a balance. I think that there's a time to come inwards and think about the things you really care about, and let that be your driving factor. And maybe you don't need to get distracted. You don't need to hang out with friends all the time. But I think both are good. I do enjoy hanging out with friends. I do enjoy looking at the beautiful freaking women. I do enjoy going to the dam and looking good and seeing all the fucking hot chicks and hoping they want to see me. There's nothing wrong with being freaking seen. It feels good. It feels nice, and there's balance in it. You don't want to. I don't want to spend my whole time trying to be seen all the time, you know. But if you're so caught up on the outside validation from others constantly, then you're just like out of balance, you know. There's got to be an inside validation as well. But I think keeping it simple. I was talking to my friend's mom. She's 75. She's like, yeah, looking at girls is totally normal. You're a man, you know. And you get all these people that think they know what they're talking about. Sound like freaking know-it-alls. I'm hearing a 75-year-old woman telling me that she still hasn't figured it out, and she's, those things are normal and stuff like that. It's like, dude, all right. Anybody below that age, even after, still, it's just like, all right. It's okay to get some outside validation, but also keep true to your own shit. Believe what you got to believe is right. And nothing wrong in my mind having an intellectual conversation either. Believe what you got to believe in order to keep the keep yourself grounded. Keep yourself grounded. Keep yourself on the right path for you, because everybody's different. What might work for me might not work for you. What might work for me might also work for you, but that's up for you to decide. That's why I like to work out. It makes me feel sharp, clear, healthier, especially if I'm having beers and I'm doing stuff like that. It's like a balance. I think the Chinese have like a good talking point when it comes to that, and they talk about like balance is key, and everybody's balance is different. Everybody's balance is different. So I think that yeah, I don't know. I try to just keep it as simple as I can. But then also I get deep with purpose. Sometimes I got to sit with myself, listen to certain music that reminds me of my childhood, remember the things I care about, remember the good things. I've had some shitty things in my past, but it is what it is. You know, but sometimes those shitty things can drive you to do really great things, really amazing things, make great changes in people's lives from the experiences you've had. It's all about how you transmute it. It's like somebody like my dad, for example, great example. He grew up in New York City, saw his dad get shot in front of him. He had to live out in the streets with his mom and sister. He grew up with pimps. He grew up with really horrible people. He's seen his friends die. He's seen friends get guns to their head. He's been beaten up by older men like his ass was. My dad is jacked and stacked. Yeah, he's got his own fucking problems for sure. Who doesn't? But growing up with him, like he used to do like a lot of, not like a lot of drugs, but he used to do like coke and all this type of stuff. When I was born, when I was younger, and he had an experience and he stopped. So when I moved to Washington State with my mom when I was 3, came back when I was 12 to live with my dad, and he was completely sober. He didn't drink or anything. He would actually like be like, all right, you want some alcohol? Go get some alcohol. He'd give me some cigarettes, and then it came to a point like a year later. He's like, all right, you gotta stop. But he was like he was healthy. He was physically active. He's still physically active. He's always physically active. Yes, he had his problems. There was a lot of that. I've had my issues with him. But if I'm so stuck up on my issues, I'm being a little boy. And I got to look at those issues and be like, okay, how can I better myself? How can I be a stronger version of myself? How can I talk to my father without, you know, trying to be like, oh, I'll beat your ass or some crazy shit like that, like challenging them. I don't think there's wrong with any light competition. I think competition's great. I think competition can fuel you, but it's depending on the competition. You know what I'm saying? Some competition might not be so good. You know, like if I'm okay, like if I have a friend over and he brings over a girl and I'm trying to impress this girl, I might be doing stuff that impresses her anyways. You know, I'm not trying to, but if I'm maliciously trying to take that girl away from him, and we're like competing, I don't think that's good competition. But if like in sports, like I'm at my job, I was competing with my coworker today. That gave me the fuel and the fire. Keep it simple. I don't need to overanalyze. Like, oh, is competition bad? Oh my God. Oh no, I don't want to lose against. I don't want to make him feel bad. Well, he's competing with you. I saw a really good anime. It was called A Race, where this kid this guy he went back in time into his kid self, and he ice skated this one kid, and he could have beaten this kid in an ice skating race, but then he decided not to beat him because he felt bad about how because the kid was like the top athlete and everything like that, but he felt bad about not beating him in the ice race, so he lost. And you know what the other kid did? The other kid got pissed. He's like, yo, you fucking lost on purpose. He was angry as hell because that kid's not worried about his feelings in that moment. He's trying to he's trying to be the best at his freaking sport. He's trying to be the best at that. So it's like you're worrying about their feelings so much. What about your fucking feelings, man? What about their fucking feelings? I know I'm going off on a whole fucking rant here, but it's a good day. It's gonna be even better tomorrow. I want to soak in that freaking sun, baby. Look at some dresses. I don't even know if I'll be outside and look at some hot girls with fucking dresses on. But I might be outside in my backyard because it'll be freaking beaming the sun. I like spending time with myself, but I also like being out, enjoying the day, being around people. Not all the time, but sometimes it's great. Get your head ticking, your mind ticking. You're flowing all the time, then you're not sharp. You don't got enough oomph to express yourself, and you get even angrier when people don't see it the way you see it, which is also normal. I think a lot of it is normalizing simple emotions. Jealousy. It's all right to get jealous. I mean, it depends on how you go about it. That just means you care. It's all right to be worried. Depends on how you go about it. Just means you care. If you're nagging somebody all the time, if you're fucking beating the shit out of them because you're jealous, that's going a little too far. There's a spectrum with this type of stuff, you know? That's my whole shindig with this whole message that I'm trying to put up is that it's a balance. And your balance might be different from my balance. But it's not about, in my mind, trying to transcend everything. How can you transcend everything if you're here in this fucking, this dense reality? It doesn't make any sense. I used to think like that. And it was dumb. You know what I became? I became an idiot. Because I wasn't enjoying life. I was too worried about trying to sound intellectual to everybody. You gotta play. You gotta have some fun sometimes. Sometimes it's alright to be serious. Think about the shit that you need to get done. What you think is gonna fulfill you and give you a higher purpose. But keep it balanced, and then go out and go fishing with your fucking friends. You know, you don't have to be like, dude, you know that the secrets of the universe are like, dude, I don't give a fuck. Oh, you don't give a fuck about the secrets of the universe that I think that I know? You know, it's just like, dude, there's a time and a place for that. Some people are interested in that stuff, but it doesn't mean you got all the answers either. You're not God. You're not the highest creator. Anyways, I got to fart. So, yeah, that's the whole message with this video is try to keep it simple, brother. Elisha Long will call it retard maxim. Thinking too much can make you gay. What does this mean? Is this you know what I mean? I used to do that all the time. But also, I don't think there's anything wrong with sitting down and pondering life. Pondering things. Feeling that shit. Looking at the bigger picture. Looking at how beautiful it is to even be here and that you can understand the words that are coming out of my mouth. That's pretty crazy. What I like about this tobacco here is it's a nice pull. That's what I like, a nice pull. Every time I get Marlboros and like cheap smokes, it's hard for me to even get a filter now because I like the pull. When I smoke tobacco, I like to enjoy the tobacco. You know, I don't like to just smoke it willy nilly. If I'm not enjoying it, it's like, what's the point? Uh, but yeah, but it is a beautiful day. That's all I can say. How's you guys' day going? What's going on with you guys? Leave a comment in the comment section below. If I even get any views on this, but I don't even really care. Part of me cares, but other part is like, all right, I'm just gonna keep uploading. I don't want to be fixated on becoming a huge YouTuber. Though I also do want to become a big YouTuber. I don't need a million subscribers. I think if you have a million subscribers, you get a million subscribers really fast. I don't think you're that authentic as a person. Most of the most authentic people that I watch on YouTube, in my opinion, they've been around for a while. They might have like 300,000 subscribers, 500,000, and that's after a long period of time. Jacob Jones is an exception, but even he's like, he's sticking to a format. You know what I'm saying? He's sticking to a format. He's like, I got a new cigarette today. I'm out in the park, but it's still pretty down to earth though. Still pretty raw. He's not editing any of his videos. Again, I'm not a freaking guru. This is just my opinion. I feel like I need to express that. I'm not here to tell you anything is true or false. I can only tell you what I think I believe in this to be true and or false, or what I think. Good sense of discernment, which means the ability to judge false or truths. But also, I don't like being like a freaking teacher too much. I'm not even being a teacher. I'm just speaking my mind. But I get in that zone so much that I feel like I lose the zest sometimes. I get in my head. I'm like, I got some wisdom to share. I'm, yeah, I know there's some wise shit that I'm saying. It might, I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it resonates with somebody. I have no fucking clue. I hope it does. Why wouldn't I hope it does? You know what I mean? Just like I hope to be seen. I like being seen. It's fun to be seen. Keep it simple. Go out there, look hot, look attractive. Try your best. Sometimes you're not in the mood. Be seen. You like being seen. Don't pretend you don't like being seen. It's all right to be seen, but you don't want your validation again to come always from the outside either. You want it to come from the inside as well. I think my roommate was just out here, but I just kept spewing. Hello. I think he's kind of a light bird. Sometimes he's a little bit of a light bird. He got out of a horrible divorce. It's not like you guys ever meet him. But great example though. I think as a man, you know what I'm saying? We have more of the ability to have oomph. Yes, I met a lot of women with a lot of oomph, but a lot of times, well, it's a hard one. I think that we have more of the ability. It's just like when women have higher levels of testosterone, what starts happening? They start growing beards. You know, my roommate, from my knowledge, his freaking wife left him and divorced him, and he was telling me about it the other night. And I don't mind sharing this because it's not like you guys know who the fuck he is. But she was like the breadwinner, and he was always taking care of the kids, doing all that stuff. And he told me that she only danced with him once at their wedding, and then after that she didn't. And I didn't want to tell him. Kind of hope he's not watching this video, but I didn't want to say this though. But I was like, it sounds like she lost attraction for you, brother. It sounds like the oomph you might have had at one point in time is gone, and you're appeasing everything. And I don't know this whole. They were married for a long time. You know what I'm saying? But it's always good to have that oomph at times, even that anger at times, because like you got your own goals, you got your things that you like. This is a partnership. I'm not gonna be okay with everything. That's why I've been avoiding having a relationship. I've been seeing this one woman. She's like fucking 42. I didn't for like weeks, for a month. I just didn't even want to hang out with her. She's always like, "Can you clean your room?" And I'm like, I don't feel like fucking cleaning my room. I want to clean my room. I'm gonna clean my room. But I don't feel like fucking really cleaning my room hardcore. My friends aren't complaining. I'm gonna make it decent, you know. And she's like, it seems like you have a thing like an addict. It's like you're an addict. And I don't know if you're doing anything or blah 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 blah, or if you're on drugs. And I'm like, dude, chill, dude. Maybe I just don't want to be around you because you're like a worrying mom constantly all the time. Worry's all right. I mean, she gives a fuck. But also, it's like that shit is annoying. I'm in the place in my life right now that I'm happy I got a job. I'm happy that I have a nice place over my head. Yes, I actually do want to clean my fucking room, but it's like I'm not doing that for you. And I'm especially since I'm not really even into you like that. And I told her this when I met her. I was just like, I'm not looking for a relationship. You're much older than me. I'm not trying to have a relationship with you. If you want to fuck here and there, that's cool. But that's about where I'm at. And she actually was cool with it. But a lot of times, women, he even said this too, like the same shit. He agreed. He's like, yeah, a lot of times they want to see if they can change your mind, sweeten you up. But she's too motherly, and I don't like that. I want a supportive girlfriend, obviously, but I don't want a mother. I already have a mom, and that shit is already fucking annoying at times. That's fair because that's my mom, so I give her that because she's my mother. But this woman has like 2 kids. You know what I'm saying? I don't like, dude, no. And I've told her this over and over. Yes, I feel bad. I'm not a fucking monster, but I do feel bad. But the other part of me is like, to what expense? Because I've already been in so many fucking relationships already, and you know, it's just like there comes a time, especially I'm 32. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I would never want to get married or anything, but I would much rather be with a woman my age. I'd much rather have a relationship with somebody my age. But I still want to travel around. I'm still going to want to travel around when I'm older. But I'm going to want to travel around and stuff, and I just don't think it's going to really work out. And I'm not trying to like hurt anybody. But you still might hurt people just by being you, saying the things that you got to say or want to say. But anyways, this video is about to run out of time, so I'm going to end it off here. Yeah, I hope this resonated with some people. I know it will resonate with some people. But, at the end of the day, hope you guys have a good day. Enjoy the summer sun, dude. It's supposed to, if you're around New York State, dude, it's supposed to be freaking sunny as fuck tomorrow, all day. So I'm going to go on a freaking run. I'm going to work out in the morning, push up squats, lifting some weights. Then I'm going to go for a run, burn off all this shit that I got in me. Fucking run, drink a lot of water, eat a nice meal, take a nice shower, go get some beers, and I'm soaking it in at 1 o'clock. I'm soaking it in at 1 o'clock, baby. 1 o'clock. So because the sun will be right where it needs to be, and I'm fucking taking in that sun because I haven't done that in a while. Because sometimes I'll get so possessed by working out, like 6 hours go by that I'm like, fuck, it's already 3, And it's like, damn, nah, I wanna fucking take in that sun, dude. I got a whole day off. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna make another video tomorrow. I hope you guys have a good night, and I'll probably be less serious tomorrow. But it was really just chilling, and honestly, yeah. Boom, baby, boom. All right, have a good night, guys, or good day.